Ooh, is Fox News finally baring its teeth at Donald Trump? It sure looks that way because a couple of Fox News hosts are publicly defending some of their colleagues after Donald Trump and his press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, publicly attacked them. Maybe this abusive relationship is coming to an end. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. Do I really expect the abusive one-sided relationship between Trump and Fox to end? No, if for no other reason because Fox News is financially benefiting from being the primary legacy network dedicated to supporting Trump. What am I talking about, though, in terms of the baring of teeth? Well, as Mediaite reports, some Fox News commentators are speaking out in defense of colleagues against escalating Trump attacks, okay? Now, before I get you those defenses, we got to see what the attacks were. We did a video about one yesterday. Donald Trump publicly lashing out at Jackie Heinrich, a Fox News reporter who occasionally appears on TV, sometimes subbing in on Fox News Sunday, but is usually at the White House during the White House daily briefs. Like she's a White House reporter asking questions alongside, for example, Peter Doocy. So Trump had this to say about Jackie Heinrich. I watched Jackie Heinrich from Fox over the weekend, and I thought she was absolutely terrible. She should be working for CNN, not Fox. Not surprisingly, I later found out that she's a fan of the White House Correspondents Association, which is, again, the body that determines which elements of the media get to appear in the White House press room and ask questions of the administration, Democrats or Republican, right? Donald Trump recently changed the rules to say actually the White House is going to select who gets to ask me questions, who gets to ask my officials questions, right? Suggesting that the Trump administration can't handle criticism or deviant points of view and going to extraordinary steps to filter who gets to challenge them. And Jackie Heinrich, to her credit, did call that out. And she made principled arguments, we covered it in a video, about why this is a mistake and why it creates a dangerous precedent, as far as conservatives are concerned, for Democratic administrations to do the same. Maybe the next Democratic administration will kick Jackie Heinrich and Peter Doocy and Fox out of the White House, revoke their credentials. This precedent permits them to do that. So that's what Trump means about the White House Correspondents Association. Again, perfectly reasonable arguments. But as we discussed in that video, Trump was pissed because Jackie Heinrich was asking adversarial questions to a MAGA Republican senator. Now, this is good journalism. It's good journalism. It's the ideal form of journalism for a reporter asking questions to be adversarial, respectful but adversarial, asking tough questions no matter who they're talking to, Democrats or Republicans. That's the ideal. But Trump is used to softball interviews for he and his supporters on Fox, and when he doesn't get it, he lashes out. So that's one example. Now, Caroline Leavitt, I mentioned at the beginning, that's Trump's press secretary. She also, in a roundabout way, took a shot across the bow at another Fox employee, a Fox legal analyst, a lawyer named Andy McCarthy, who's also, I know he's a writer for, and I think he might be the editor of the Conservative National Review. So I'm going to play this clip in which he takes a cheap shot at Andy McCarthy because Andy McCarthy happens to disagree with some of the legal actions of the Trump administration.
Andy McCarthy said in an interview with Hugh Hewitt, he certainly agrees with what the president is trying to do with the Alien Enemies Act, but he's not sure that the law is completely on his side. He cites some previous Supreme Court rulings dealing with enemy combatants in wartime, says that even they have a challenge or a right to challenge their detention in court. He raised concern also that while TDA has been designated as a terrorist organization, these individuals hadn't been prosecuted for terrorism. So my question is, will the president ask Congress potentially to declare war on these cartels for the invasion that he's talked about so that he's on stronger legal footing?
Well, we absolutely disagree with the legal opinion of the individual that you mentioned. We would not have moved forward with this if we didn't believe the president. This was within the president's executive authority to continue with this mass deportation effort under the authority provided to him under the Alien Enemies Act. And when you read the act, as I did last time at the podium, a predatory incursion is absolutely what has happened with Tren de Aragua. They have been sent here by the hostile Maduro regime in Venezuela, and the president, immediately upon taking office, designated TDA as a foreign terrorist organization. And under this act, it is within the president's authority to deport these terrorists. And anybody trying to defend these terrorists who have now been sent off of American soil should talk to the families of the individuals who these heinous monsters have killed and have raped. If you talk to them.
So, again, Right. That was a shot across about Andy McCarthy. Oh, Andy McCarthy? Why are you defending terrorists? No, he's defending due process, even that apply to alleged terrorists. You actually have to prove that they're terrorists. Number one, you should do that. Number two, again, he supports the overall initiative. He just questions the legality of some of your strategies. But again, as far as the Trump administration is concerned, to even offer that sort of tepid criticism, well, how dare you do that? You can't do that. Everything Donald Trump does is perfect and legal and constitutional, right? So this gets to some of the reactions. So Brit Hume, legendary, infamous conservative Fox News analyst, responded like this in response to Donald Trump. He says, I watched her too, Jackie Heinrich. She plays it straight, covering both sides of a story, and has certainly played fair with you. You may have a case against some White House reporters, but not Jackie Heinrich. So that is Brit Hume, infamous conservative, legendary Fox News analyst, publicly lashing out, I should say, that's not fair, publicly rebuking Donald Trump, who petulantly lashed out at a Fox News reporter for daring to ask tough questions. Now, in response to the clip I just showed you, Andy McCarthy, another Fox News commentator, Guy Benson, responded like this. So Andy McCarthy is more than capable of defending himself in his legal analysis. I'll just note that Andy spent much of his career putting terrorists in prison and has been frequently positively cited by Trump himself. He's far from a hysterical, terrorist-defending leftist. So, here you have a situation where at least a couple of Fox News hosts are daring to publicly defend their colleagues. It's actually somewhat respectable, right? I mean, this is probably the most we'll ever get from meaningful pushback from Fox, but it's something. It's something. Donald Trump has had a long history of attacking Fox News. Again, we saw it primarily during the last election cycle. Anytime that Donald Trump was feeling palpably insecure, and he saw that Fox News was running a Kamala Harris ad. And by the way, MSNBC ran the Trump ads. My videos on my channel, I don't control the ads. YouTube picks them. But I've seen reports where people are like, oh, Trump ads have played on your channel. I didn't pick them. I would prefer not to have Trump ads on my channel. But the point is, that's how advertising works. They get played on the places you would least expect. Trump ads on MSNBC, Kamala Harris ads on Fox News. It's like standard practice for the industry. And Trump was furious about it. How dare you? You can't run Kamala Harris ads. You're my personal fiefdom in the media. You're supposed to obey me, have allegiance to me, not platform or promote my enemies. When Fox News would bring on Kamala Harris surrogates like Ian Sams, asking him tough questions, not giving him a softball interview, asking him tough questions, Trump would still lose his mind because very often those Kamala Harris surrogates would answer those questions very adroitly, very well. You're platforming my opponents. You're giving them airtime. You're not shutting them down. You're not making fun of them. And so he would attack Fox News in general and specific Fox News hosts and reporters and talent. As a matter of fact, he's viciously attacked Bret Baier because Bret Baier will occasionally ask him a tough question in an interview. As a matter of fact, after the disastrous debate that Trump had with Vice President Harris, of course, Trump said he won, right? I won that thing. And he did a phone interview with Fox and Friends in the morning. And Steve Doocy, Peter Doocy's father, was like, hey, listen, I know you said you won the debate, which he didn't contradict him. He should have. He'd been like, actually, no, you got your ass kicked. But would you consider having another debate with Vice President Harris on Fox News? We sent out the invitation. Bret Baier and Martha MacCallum would host. And Trump lost his shit and said, no, I'm not going to. Bret Baier and Martha MacCallum, no, they're the worst because they would dare occasionally criticize him, because they would dare occasionally ask him a tough questions. He's like, Sean Hannity would be better. Jesse Waters would be better. Jeanine Pirro would be better. Total and unabashed Trump sycophants. It's not enough that Martha MacCallum and Bret Baier obviously grade Trump on a curve and lean in Trump's direction. That's not enough. You have to be all in. You can't have a foot in the outside world, so to speak. And Jackie Heinrich does. And Andy McCarthy, as much as I dislike him, again, another legal analyst who wants to grade Trump on a curve, create false equivalence, but one who is also still sane enough to call out some of the worst excesses of Trump. He's not partisan enough as far as Trump is concerned. And that's why Carolyn Leavitt and Donald Trump are lashing out at these people. So to see Brit Hume and Guy Benson actually dare risk the wrath of their viewers and defend Jackie Heinrich and defend Andy McCarthy says something. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe Trump will respond to both of them, maybe not. But it'll make me wonder if we'll start to see, as given that we're only 2 months into this administration, as Trump continues to lash out at conservative media every time they fail to be sufficiently loyal, will we see more Fox News hosts speak up in defense? Remains to be seen. But in the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.